Hello everybody. Today we are going to learn a lot about this uh, SQLite database in Flutter. So we are going to connect this create the SQLite database and connect it to with our previously designed UI of reorderable list. Okay. As it was one of my subscribers' request, so thank you for your request. So I am trying to do my best to create uh, understandable or maybe easy to understand codes for you. So at first we need some dependencies in this tutorial, that will be SQFLITE and path. Okay, so you can go to this pop.dev and you can install this SQFLITE. Just copy it and you can just go to your pop specs and add over here. Okay, inside dependencies, so you can just do it like this. Okay, but in my case it's 2.2.8 and for path 1.8.2. so you can search path over here, path, then that will be like this one. You can also copy this and you can paste it over here, but I am facing some like denial with 1.8.2. So 1.8.3, so I'm using 1.8.2. okay, so 1.8.2 will be all right for right now, so I do prefer using 1.8.2. so after adding these dependencies to a project, let's go and create a database helper. Okay, so I'm just creating a database helper in my utils folder. Okay, so that will be database helper. So after that let's work in this. So before moving on, let's go and let's check our SQLite. Okay, so here you can connect your SQFLite with two types. That will be, one will be raw SQL queries and another will be with SQL helpers. So I'll be doing SQL helpers in this tutorial. Okay, so as you can see, it is giving me all this data. So let's continue. Okay, so I'm just not going to create this class to do, because I don't want to work in this class. So I am just going to show you about the helper class. Okay, so that will be like to do provider, so same like to do provider. Okay, let's go. Okay, you can copy paste it, or let's begin with step by step. Okay, so that will be all right for you maybe. So first of all, let's create some constants. Okay, so class name list provider, then we are going to create some constants or string types, so that we don't get mixed up. Okay, so database name, so database name will be like SQFLite example.txt. okay, so another will be, I will write the table name string table name, that will be names. Okay, in my case, after that I'm going to write the names of the columns. Okay, so that I don't mismatch over time. Okay, so final string column id, that will be underscore id for me. Okay, so final string column name is equals to, that will be like name, and final string column position, that will be position, so that I can manage these positions in my database. Okay, so that's only the beginning. So here I have only given the constants names, that's it. I haven't done anything with the SQFLITE. Okay, so now we are going to connect our data, create our database and connect it to the SQF, create a database. Okay, so to create a database, let's first declare our database. Okay, so let's do database, and that will be database. Okay, so let's connect this database. So that will be, sorry, database, that will not be database. Okay, so package SQFLITE slash SQF. Okay, database. Okay, so here it is giving an error because nowadays in Flutter it will not give us an access to directly only declare a variable like this. Okay, so to declare the variable, we need to add a late keyword in before that. So it will say that it will initialize somewhere inside our project. Okay, so after that, let's create a function. Okay, on init function, or let's simply say init on. So that will be like this. So inside we are going to get the location where we can save our database. Okay, so final database path is equals to here we should use await. Await is for asynchronous database fetching, so it will take some time, so we do await to wait for it. So we need to use async function. Okay, for while when we use await, we should use async function. So async await get database path, so it will give us the path of the database. Okay, so after that we need to join our database path with our actual database. Okay, so final path will be join will be of from the path package. Okay, so join, what should we join? That means database path comma database name. So it will connect to path, that will be database name with our with the database path with our database name. Okay, so after that we need to check, we need to open the database. Okay, so that will be database equals database open database. Okay, so even this is also, this will also works as a async function, so we should write await new. Okay, open database. So I need to initialize this database to this open database, so I'll write database is equals to await open database. Okay, so here we are passing path, but we need to pass something like versions and something like onCreate if we want it. So also ongrade, upgrade or downgrade. Okay, so here we are only using three parameters, that will, one will be path and another will be version. So this will be like version controlling. So after that we will use onCreate function. So this function will take two parameters and work on it. Okay, so it will work when we open the database. It will be like when creating the database or even while opening the database. Okay, so while opening the database, it will say check if it is on create, means there is no database of this name and we have to create a new database, so it will create a table. Okay, so on create it will also create a table. Let's make this, and over here I have to do something. Okay, rather than that I will just write another function where I create table on create. Okay, table create on create. So it will take the same parameter, that will be database as db and version as version will be of type int. Sorry. Okay, yes. So after that let's write what is it, yes, this one, like db.execute. This is the SQL where we create table with the table name. That will be table name. And column id, we do have column id, which is going to be integer, yes, and it is going to be primary key and auto increment, yes, it's correct. After that we do have column name, not title. Okay, so column name, it will be of text and not, yes, it's okay. So after that there is a column position, so it is integer and not null. Good. But if you want it to, if you want it to be null, you can just change this not null and paste it. Okay, but in my case I want this to be not null. Okay, so it will create a table while the database, while opening a database. Okay, so to have this functionality, I just need to use this on create table on create to be over here. Okay, so because this will be in future, I recommend using futures in front of these functions. Okay, so if there's a reference future, then I should add this one async. Okay, let's write log table created. Okay. As I have already told, there are two types of log, that will one way of math and one way of developer. So developer will print something in our debug console, and another log will be logistics. Okay, after this, everything is correct, everything is good. So after this I need another function, future, maybe on closer, maybe it's like yes, over here. So this will close the database. Okay, future close, that will be an async folder, then db, in our case db is database, so database dot close. Okay, just I need to do some functionality over here, just like I need to console log something, so I will use this type of functionality. Okay, not the arrow functionality. db close. Okay, table created. Okay, over here I will write log db init initialized. Okay, so nothing changes over here because we haven't used this name list provider anywhere. Okay, so let's use it in our UI. Okay, in this previous UI. So let's go to the reorderable list. If you don't have the previous code, then you can copy it from this medium. I think I have provided you the code. Yeah, this front end code, I think. So not the UI code, I have written front end code, so you can copy it from here. Okay, but there are a lot more things that has been going on, so it might be really confusing for you. So I prefer having this code, which is in my previous reorderable list article. Okay, so after that I just wanted to check one thing, that is initialize. Okay, so while we using stateful wizard, there are functionality called init state. This is called when this page is initialized. Okay, when this class is initialized or this page is initialized, when we go to this page, this one is called, let's check, log init. Okay, back and okay, as you can see, this okay, init is called. back, and I go init. Yes, so to you initialize our database, while on init I should use name list provider in my this UI portion. Okay, so to use that I will just simply create an instance of this name list. Okay, final let's say name list provider is equals to name list provider. Okay, this is an object of name list provider, so I'll use this object to access all my functions over there. Okay, so on init name list provider dot init, yes, that will be our name, and okay, let's go with that. Okay, back, and here is nothing. There's nothing. Yes, sorry, I have you to be over here. That will be all right. Okay, so let's go dv initialized, because I have already have one version where my dv has been initialized and my table has been created. Okay, so let's make it 2, then back, and then again. See this. Okay, the database has been called and the table has been created. Okay, so a new database of SQFLITE example 2 has been created and the table has been created. Okay, let's keep it 2 only. Okay, back, and again if I go there, only database has been initialized, the table has not been created, so it will be created only once, so don't worry about it. Okay, so when the page will be initialized, then on init state will be called, then there is a function called deactivate, which is called when this page is closed. Okay, so in that time I want to call dot name list provider dot close, which closes our database. Okay, so back, database closes, and when we go database initialized, and again back, database close. Okay, let's go. So the database has been initialized, table has been created, everything is going fine. Okay, so we have learned how to create a database in SQFLITE. So create database and create a table. Okay, so let's now move into another section where we will do CRUD operators. That will be like insert, and that will be insert, read, update, and then delete. Okay, so to do that, let's go to the database helper and let's create a function. Okay, function that will be, let's say, insert. Okay, now here in insert we want the data, so I want the data to be like something like id, sorry, underscore id 1. Okay, or let's say I don't want id, because id is auto increment and it's a primary key, so I don't want id, I just want name, and another will be position 1. Something like this will be all right. So I want something like this. So in Flutter there is something called map. So map defines this object, and maps will be of type, the fronts will be of string, and second value of any type like a dynamic will be all right, but I will use object. Okay, so it can be null for me. So I have defined the data type, and this will be the variable which holds the data with this is the parameter. Okay, parameter name. So here I will await, and I will use just database dot insert, so it will insert into the table. Our table is table name. and our value will be the parameter, that will be names. Okay, so as I have already told, when you use await, use async, and when you use async, it's better to use future. Okay, so this is the only line of code that is required for us to insert our data into the SQLite database, nothing more than that. Okay, so after that, I just want to read the data. That means I want to fetch all the data. Okay, so to fetch all the data, this will be like insert, and another will be like future get name lists. Okay, so in this get name list, we don't get anything specific. Okay, so we don't need anything specific over here, so that's why we're just going to return something. So the return will be same as the type we got. Okay, future, and that will be something like this. Okay, but this is only for a single data, but we are going to return a list of data, so we have to write list of data. And list of what kind of data? List of map kind of data. Okay, cannot be written now, that's all right, don't worry about it. Okay, we haven't returned anything yet because here was nothing that will be like void, but here we are going to return something that will be of list type, and that list will be of map type, and the maps will be of string and object. Okay, so let's await for database dot query. So database the query will query our table, that will be our table name. Okay, so I'll return this one, because as you can see, database query will return a list of future list of type maps with string or object type. Okay, so that's it for update, sorry, for get data. Okay, but here okay, let's go and we will talk about it in future. After that, I just want to go and update the data. So to update the data, I will create a data function called update, and in this I will use async, and if you are using async, use future. Okay, that will be all right. So in update, we have to get something from there. That means we need something to be returned. Okay, we need something to be returned. So to return, to get it, we have to get the data first, then we have to check if the ID is there, and then we have to do some functionality over there. So same as in insert, I will get a name from there, that will be a name from there. Okay, names, I will just write name, because a single data will be, we will get a single data. Okay, so I'll get name. Okay, so after that I have to check whether that will be like something like update table where id is equals to 1 2 or name dot id. Yes, so something like this should be my SQL query. So to do that, I just need to call database dot update. So here we will get the table name. After that, we have to pass the value will be the name. Okay, so that will be name. I want to update name, but where should I update the name? So there is another parameter argument where, that is called where it should be where our column dot id, that will be underscore id is equals to our id. Here I will be using what, okay, because here I will be passing this to where arguments, okay. So that will be like in a array, and that will be name, and I have to access the type. That will be like inside this I do have another something. This will be for insert, and for update my name will contain all the data, like this, underscore id is equals to blah blah blah, okay? Something like this. So I want to access this id, so I will do name, and for the id I will use column id, okay. So here it will update the data where my column, where my id is equals to the id sent in the update argument, okay. So this is just a simple example for update. After that, the final operation of code, that will be delete operator. So that will be future, and that will be delete, and it will be like int id, okay. So await database dot delete. I want to delete what? I want to delete table. I just don't want to delete whole table data. I just want to delete where what I will delete, where the given, where the column id is the given id. So I'll just copy this one, okay, over here, and if instead of name I do have my id, so that will be like id over here, okay. So this will just to delete asterisk from table name where my column, where my id is equals to given id. Did you get it? This is only for delete. So we have created table, we have inserted, we have a function to insert data, we have a function to update data, we have a function to delete data. We have a function to read the data, that will be get name list, okay. That is it. There is nothing much to learn about it, okay. So I just wanted it to demonstrate. So for the demonstration, it's simply easier for you to copy and paste the code I have provided over here. This will work fine, but if you want to subscribe, and I do really appreciate your support.